The other day, I was thinking about all those generic isekai animes, and I thought to myself, I kind of want to make an anime. So, of course, the best way to do that is to make your own generic isekai, right? I I don't see any other way that would track. So, I have here a very nice notepad, word pad, document pad that takes words and look, the more I think about it, whatever random idea I came up with, the more I think it's a horrible idea. Because it's that time I got reincarnated as my little sister. It's so dumb. Why? Why is. I have that whole footage. That was yesterday's episode. Or recording, whatever. It's so dumb. Why is that? What are we? Comic Sans, perfect. Comic Sans 13-point font. Look, I'm not even gonna double space this. It's just okay. So, burning question, right? How does one actually write a generic isekai? It's probably a really good thing to figure out. If you're gonna do something, you gotta figure out how to do it. So, well, I can't see it being much different than just a random story where somebody gets isekai, right? So I just write a normal story? Is that it? A generic story? But like, it can't just be a normal story, though. It's gotta be generic isekai. Everybody knows that in like generic isekais, there's always over-explained stuff. It's always really weirdly explained. You can pull up like an actually, decent one. Apothecary Diaries, right? Now, look, I haven't read much Apothecary Diaries, but from what I have read, it's pretty good, straightforward, and it's not it's not egregiously over-explained. That's the word. But in a bunch of generic isekais, it might as well bring the whole thesaurus with you. Because you're gonna need it with those. So, we kind of know how we're gonna start this. We just need to know the main character's name, huh? Well, this is gonna be trick number 1 in our generic isekai preparation. It's gonna be using AI. That's I mean, that's gotta be how they do it, right? They gotta use AI for those. I don't see any other way besides AI. So I pull up my local help handy dandy AI on a separate device as to not reveal all of my secrets. And I will ask the AI, hey, I'm writing a generic isekai novel where the guy gets isekai'd as his little sister. What is the name of the guy and his little sister? And then, of course, I just copy paste the answers. Why? Why would I do anything different? So anyway, the guy's name is Hiro Tanaka, and the little sister's is Ami Tanaka. That sounds overly familiar. Surely that's not like a normal thing. Hiro Tanaka. If I search that up, nothing of importance pops up when I search up Hiro Tanaka. I mean, there's like generic guys named that. I will say generic guys. That probably undervalues them a little bit. But nobody of like great celebrity standing importance. Ami Tanaka. Oh, that's a fan art character. Oh, it's a Naruto OC. Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, I think we're fine on those names. Alright. All right, so we have we're gonna have Hiro Tanaka and Ami Tanaka. All right. So, generic isekai, right? Guy, he's gonna be a little older. It's important for the story, right? Actual plot here, no. I keep going back and forth on that. Do we want like an actually decent plot in our generic isekai, or are we making this a generic isekai, right? Maybe we go like partway in the middle, and then it's just partway generic isekai, but like parody wise. Like, does it matter that much? Am I overthinking making a generic isekai where the guy gets reincarnated as his little sister? Well, let me just start writing something, and then I'll see how this goes. I've also have this cool voice to text feature. I don't know if how well this works. I'll see. Yeah, of course I'm gonna allow you to use it. Oh, I think it works. New paragraph. Tab. I yawned. New paragraph tab. This isn't as good as I thought it would be. All right, so start over. I yawned. Period. New line. Tab. It was 9 p.m. comma, otherwise known as 3 hours past the end of my shift, comma, and I was finally done with the work for the day. Period. Okay, what in the world is it doing? Like, what? It's just a generic space. But, huh? Because what it should be is that. That's the proper paragraph spacing. So as I know. Also, is that normal? 9 p.m. with a period and a comma? You know what? If you know anything about generic isekais, you would know that they're not properly edited, so I don't need to figure that out. It'll be fine. That is probably proper. I mean, I want to say that's proper, but it makes... I don't like it either way. I'll do it this way. And then you can yell at me in the comment section. Anyway, this line kind of feels, what's the word? Amateurish, like I was in school when I wrote it, like a grade school. But it's the best I can think of, and, generic isekai, so it fits. Yeah. Well, comma, I say the day, comma, but it's just the work I had assigned myself. Given my large pile of work, I know I'm never going to be able to finish all the way. Finish all the way? What am I thinking? Finish through. So much better. Wait, did you mean I had assigned myself? It's just the work I had assigned myself, given my large pile of work. You know what? They're not edited. It's fine. So right now, right? We're just going. We're gonna be really over explaining this guy's office experience. That way, you can feel the same dread of how long it takes to get through that this man is also feeling. We really want this to be a horrid experience for the reader, just so you can finally see the relief once the guy gets isekai'd. Ah? I'm metagaming this on purpose. Whoa! The reader gets to play along too. It's so great. It'll be so refreshing. I know I'm never going to be able. Oh, that's so wordy. Because I'm seeing that now and I'm thinking, I know I'll never be able to finish. Just get rid of half that sentence. Oh, it's so wordy. I love it. Okay. Should I like over explain his work? Hold on. That would be so painful and extremely unimportant. I will be over explaining his work. Let's see. What is Hiro Tanaka? Well, what does he do? We're gonna save the big reveal of his sister, because his sister's actually gonna be like this famous, really hot model, because merchandising. And he's gonna see that at the convenience store. And that'll be the reveal of like him being the sister. You know, once he goes and explains that through. No, we're gonna be ever. You see, now my like senses are kicking in, right? To make like an actually decent story. Because now I'm thinking, ooh, I could have this work that's being assigned to him go over into his isekai story, right? Like, it goes together. Which I guess they kind of do that sometimes. Like that one time, there was one where the guy was a civil engineer and then he did civil engineering. Vending machine one. The guy loved vending machines. I don't know why that popped into my head. That was never explained. He just is a vending machine. And that's for some reason the way that happened. So like, I'm on the fence here. Do I do it? Ah. I see out of the corner of my vision a coin. A coin will solve all the answers to my questions. Because as you know, generic isekais are super inconsistent. Alright, heads I make it good, tails I make it bad. It's heads, I gotta make it good now. Alright. So whatever his work is means that he's gonna be doing it probably later on. Well, given that he is going to have the Demon Lord position, he will probably, I want to say some form of accounting. HR, he's going to be HR and he's going to have to deal with the complaints that have been filed. Perfect. Okay. That's what he's going to be doing. And then when he gets into the actual, you know, reincarnated as the demon. Hold up. That time I got reincarnated as my little sister. But she's actually the Demon Lord with 2 exclamation marks to satisfy absolutely nobody. Perfect. It's either 1 or 3. And in between is 2, and you're weird if you do 2. I'd like to give my heartfelt apologies to all the people who do 2, but please start doing 3. So yes, he just files HR complaint paperwork. It's not like my work matters much anyway, comma. After all, comma, once I sign it, comma, it all goes back to the same place, no matter how much attention I give to it. Period. The paper shredder. Period. More comma. I've been told that I use too many commas a lot of the time. Did you mean delete? No, there needs to be commas here. Why do you really want me to change all this stuff? The paper shredder? Paper shredder with a pin. That is what we have here. Apologies for not trusting you when you just put the same thing. Didn't even capitalize this. Do I have to capitalize it? It's the paper shredder. There we go. The paper shredder. There we go. And I'll just, new paragraph for dramatic effect. Really just gotta make this so dreadful for everybody involved, including myself. If my own manager is anything to go off of, comma. None of the managers care about the employees and are all just as horrible as the last. Period. The sick men only care for hot women and lots of cash. Period. Look, I don't know how else to explain it. This whole thing is written so horribly. Oh my goodness. But like, it's all dreadful. This is all part of the metagame. I am mind gaming everybody. Oh, I hate this line so much. I hate it. Oh, I kind of need to like. Oh, okay. Just being in the nearby vicinity to one of them is as dreadful as my thoughts on a Saturday night after spending my life savings at the bar. Period. Why did you capitalize dreadful? It must emphasize itself. Thanks, text or voice to text. So horrible. Such a horrible line. Saturday night. And it just so happened to be Saturday. Period. I think my mind is already preparing itself for a long night. Period. Yeah, that's good enough. Look, okay, I know how horribly this is all written. So I'm just kind of metagaming it just a little extra to tell you, yeah, we got the first person perspective. It's dreadful. And we have a really bad joke out of it. See? It's fine. Oh, it's not fine. Such a dumb joke. Whatever. Keep it going. We're not even at the Isekai yet. And I mean, what's our word count? 182 words. Okay, that's kind of okay, I guess. I don't care for word count. Never have. I was one of those types of guys who always just finished it when it finished in school. So if I had 300 words, I had 300. If I had 800, I had 800. No matter what they said for the word count requirements. Woo! Preparing itself for a long night. Hmm. Go here. Though, comma, to make this day even more dreadful than it already has been, comma, the bar I normally go to is being renovated, period. Therefore, I just delete. Believe my best course of action is to instead spend my life savings at the convenience store. Why do you do this? Hold on, let me turn off the grammar suggestion thing, right? No, okay. Therefore, I've spent life savings on cheap beer at the convenience store. Yeah, it sets up. Hey, we're going to the convenience store now. Yeah, not bad. I mean, we already know it's that time I got reincarnated as my little sister, but she's actually the demon lord. So we know already that we're going to be isekaiing. That's the we know this. So just we're just gonna keep it going. My life savings on cheap beer at the convenience store. A whole $106.82. Period. Does not have the dollar sign. Oh boy, which one is it on the keyboard? Oh, number 4. There we go. Oh, $106.82. Calculating after my rent and bills, of course. See, the guy's somewhat responsible. I'll do a whole line break there just to satisfy my ever my ever growing need to make this not look like a single block of text. I mean, even though we have the new line or the tab spaces there, it still looks bad. I shut off my computer and walk through the office toward the elevator, comma, keeping the lights on as, sadly, I am not the only person left at the building. Period. I'll fix this, and then I will describe the elevator ride in detail. The elevator ride is slow and lonely. Of course, I need to stop saying of course. It's like, yeah, of course you know that. No, yeah. Slow and lonely, yes. Carry on. As I have gotten bored of the company of the same music I've heard on repeat for the last 12 years. Period. The only thing that makes the ride What's that word? I'm thinking of a specific word. Ah, bearable. Why do I not know bearable? Why did I just entirely zone out on the word bearable? It's another phenomena. Though I'm sure that phenomena is much more easily explained than trying to explain why in the world I'm writing whatever this thing is. That makes bearable is the hope that I'll get out of it. It being the elevator. Elevator. There we go. Why is bearable capitalized? Look, I'm just gonna have to proofread this whole thing at the end, and I'll change up some stuff. It'll be fine. Though then again, we're only at 313 words. I'm honestly making pretty good progress with this. I hope that I'll get out of the elevator. Though, comma, stepping out of the elevator isn't much better. Comma, as the only thing you see walking from the elevator to the front entrance is a dark reception area, comma, emptied out many hours ago, comma, because the managers love to be nice to the receptionist, period. This guy's just dreadful to be around. Oh my goodness. Ugh. Why is he so dreadful? Ugh. I say that, but I'm the one who's writing him. Even I don't know why he's so dreadful. He's such a horrible guy. Ugh. Ugh. I'm like very tempted to speed this along just so I can get to the Isekai section faster. Because I don't want this to be here. Oh boy. Ugh. Let's be nice to the receptionist. I'll do an extra line break here. No, don't put a... What even is that? Apostrophe is this one, so that one, I don't know. It's not tilde. It's the other thing. The other dot line. Yeah, you know, that. The dot line, of course. That's the button I don't want to press. I'm gonna make this guy so dreadful. The walk from the entrance to the convenience store, comma, only a few blocks, comma, is still dreadful. I feel like I can use a better term, phrase than dreadful to really just hurl in how horrible this guy is. So, also, what type of insult can I throw at the walk here? What's in the entrance? Only a few blocks. Oh, of course. I just combine the two things, the explanation of why it's bad and me complain. Hero, yeah, of course, complaining about why it's bad. You know, just as rubbish as the trash that lines the edges of the streets. comma, that nobody wants to clean up, period. There's irony in the fact that the street right next to it is as clean as I would hope myself to be. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Wait, so I hope myself to be. What does this mean? Oh my goodness, he hates everybody and society and himself. Hero, my guy, do you need help? I can help you. Oh my goodness. Clean on the outside, comma, full of beer on the inside, period. So dumb. So dumb. But nevertheless, comma, the convenience store is my holy grail. Period. My shining light in the darkness. When everything else is horrid. Period. Especially the cute girl always at the counter, comma, who for some reason always does the night shift. Period. This guy is no better than his managers. This will become a character arc later, but we don't need to worry about that for now. We'll just make him horrid. As he himself says, clean on the outside, full of beer on the inside. So dumb. If this is what it feels like to make one of those anime isekais, then goodness, maybe I should swap my job. uh, she's always unresponsive to my attempts to make small talk, period. Oh my goodness. Walking far to the back, comma, passing the meals and other food items I know I wouldn't be able to keep down, comma, I grab a few packs of beer and make it toward the register. Period. I'm gonna stop it right there. Because the next part, actually important story information. In my generic isekai, there's actually important story information? Whoa. So surprising. Make it toward the register. On the shelves next to the entrance are the magazines. Period. A few pinup models catch my eye, and I contemplate picking up a few magazines, comma, until I see her. Period. For dramatic effect, her will be italicized and bolded. Mm-hmm. Ooh, I'm very curious. If I say the names, what's Ami Himekawa, right? That's probably close enough. Ami Himekawa. Army Himekawa, yeah! That's her name. I will have to write that myself. Ame Himekawa. Top model at multiple agencies, comma, given that that makes her more money than an exclusivity contract. Period. This just sounds really, like, important feeling, even though I'm pretty sure this is, like, factually incorrect. But generic isekai, so therefore we go with it. Given that that makes her more money than an exclusivity contract. I feel like he should be like even more dreadful toward this girl. Just really beat it down into her. Hmm. It was Ame. It was that, right? I need to pull up my tab again just to confirm. Like, yes, indeed, it was that. Oh, it was Tanaka. Okay. I don't know why I got Himekawa. Ami Tanaka, of course. And that makes her more money than an exclusivity contract. Also, an all around horrible and uncaring person. Period. Though, comma, above all else, comma, my sister. Period. I, comma, I'm gonna have to write his name myself. Hiro Tanaka. Am working a horrible dead end job while my little sister runs amok with all the money she could ever desire. Period. You know, that kind of sets it up decently, right? This guy, Hiro Tanaka, has a little sister who he really doesn't like. Mm-hmm. She has never once offered to give me money, comma, or invited me to go to any of her special events, comma, or even given me a single thought for my well-being. Period. Yeah, that's probably good enough. Of course, the coin flip, blah, blah, blah. I gotta make it good, so, like, that all becomes, that's not true. Girl cares for the guy, but she doesn't want to take care of the guy. What was the saying? Give a man a fish, he eats for a day. Teach a man the fish, and he eats for life or something. This girl, she would rather teach the man the fish, but he wants to be given a fish. That sort of thing. So, yeah, I'll leave it at that for the time being. I don't know what else to put. So therefore, we just skip it, keep going. I skip past the magazines, period. Placing my beers on the counter to pay for, comma. The girl gives me an odd look. Comma. And then completes my purchase without saying a word. Period. Not even a thank you. Period. And I don't thank her. Period. Yeah, that's probably fine. I hate that. I'll fix it later. Walking out of the convenience store, comma, I start the slow and tedious walk back to my apartment building. I'll just do apartment in itself. I gotta think very carefully about my word usage. This generic isekai needs to be amazing. I start the slow and tedious walk back to my apartment, where the rent is too high and the space too small. Period. I want to, like, have him cross the street, but not just say, I was crossing the street. So I have to, like, have him focus on something else. Where the rinse is too high, of course. Thanks, speech to text. How great you are. English US? What if I do, like, English UK? Is that a thing? It is a thing. Well, does it help? Does it help if I do English UK? Maybe that would make a difference. Rinse too high, space too small. Though, comma, across a big street such as this, comma, the scenery changes frequently enough. I can look out for it and not get bored. Period. My favorite being the large crosswalk near the station that connects the two major roads. I'm thinking of nowhere in particular. Nowhere special. And the station connects the two major roads. I often stop there and look at the scenery, and today is no different. Period. Oh boy. Line break. With the bing. Boom. And you know it's important because it gets like its own little space. Of course. You know, it's great. That's how it goes. It's great. A phone notification. Period. Not that I ever get any outside of my normal family. Comma, which tells me this may be important. Period. I bend down to set my beer on the ground. Change this to road. And pull out my phone to see which family member it was who texted me. Period. I'll do a line break. A text from Ami. But of course you just know her last name by this point. Text from Ami. I'll just dig in the point. My little sister. Haha. I will change that back. I don't think it's made any difference. Texts from her I often dread. Period. Though I always check them anyway. Period. I get this feeling today's message might be different, comma, given how everything seems much brighter around me. Period. New paragraph. Delete. Delete. Line break. New line. Tab. Wait. Period. 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 New line. It wouldn't make sense for everything around me to be brighter. New line. I look to my side. Period. New line. A truck! And then he gets Isekai. Wow, and it only took 843 words. And I'm not even at the good part yet. No way. My favorite line. Line break. Oh my goodness. I'll fix this later, okay? Now, I do wonder, do I have like one of those like big horizontal lines that goes across the whole thing? Or like big breaks? Can I like insert? Link drawing? Chart? Symbol? I don't think it's a symbol. A horizontal line. There we go. Perfect. Horizontal line. Perfect. Mm-hmm. An unfamiliar sky. You're welcome. The the zero of you watching this who know, you know. An unfamiliar sky. Hmm. Meaning I must be laying on the ground. Period. The only thing to do, comma, stand up. Period. And right as I do that, comma, it feels like there's a large weight on my shoulders. A large waist on my shoulders. He's not that rubbish. Google. Google text to voice to text, speech to whatever. There's a large waist on my shoulders. That would make sense, comma, given I was just hit by a truck. Period. New line. Tab. I was hit by a truck? Huh? Question mark. New line. I feel really good for somebody who was just hit by a truck. Wonder how he's gonna adapt that for himself. Really good for someone who was just hit by a truck. Why is this the hardest thing here? How do I feel really how do I like adapt that to himself? Do I last time I just nixed it. And that was somewhere up here. I don't remember. I'm gonna do that this time. Just gonna nix it. Don't care. God. Who cares about that line anyway, right? Really good for someone who's just hit by a truck. Perhaps that's due to brain damage, comma, and given nothing around me looks familiar in the slightest. Period. Around me is a rocky waste with a gray sky, comma, how I imagine the side of a cliff to be if it was sprawled out across the landscape. Period. No trees or grass, comma, no life. Period. Aside from a large castle off in the distance. Period. That's gonna be the Demon Lord's castle. Uh huh. Gotta love it, right? A large castle out in the distance. Even if I have brain damage, comma, sittering around doing nothing won't help me at all. Period. So I start to walk to the castle. Period. A walk, as I quickly find out, comma, that is very uneventful and filled with lots of slopes I nearly slip on. Period. On multiple occasions, I trip on the ground. Comma, which has a sort of unnatural feeling to it, comma, but I chalk it down to a concussion. Period. New line. However, comma, before the castle even grows in the horizon, comma, I see a group of horsemen riding somewhere in the direction of the castle. Period. I feel sorry for the horses, comma, given they have nowhere to eat. Period. That's probably decent, right? Like, I don't know how in the world I describe a new world. Well, you don't. It's a different world. But that's probably fine. It's a rocky waste, you know? That's about it. I don't know why it made this castle lowercase and this one uppercase. Who cares? Who cares? I already have a lot of fixing I need to do anyway. A lot of proofreading. A lot of... This is how people get animes out? How web novel works? Oh boy. There's this given they have nowhere to eat. New line. I figure whoever is on those horses knows more about where I am than I do. Period. New line. New line. Quotation mark. Well, that doesn't work. Can't do a quotation mark? Hey. Over here. I cry out. Seemingly, it gets their attention as they start moving my way. Uh, as they approach, I'm able to see them better. See them better. 5. You know, I just riders. Comma. 4 in the back with heavy sets of armor. Comma. And 1 handsome man, comma, who I envy, comma, in the front, comma, seemingly leading the unit. Period. I'm not metagaming this, am I? At the beginning. Yeah, I could totally be metagaming this. Yeah. Here, I don't even know what I'm doing. I'm just making it up as I go. Like, come on. I peaked at the whole dollar 106.82 part. How in the world am I ever gonna beat that? Handsome hand. You know what? I know exactly how to beat that. We're giving this the full new line treatment. I'm going to spend as long as I can describing this handsome man. As I'm going to put as many adjectives and random things as I can think of there. The man was clad in a regal black, comma, more so one a noble would wear than a knight, comma. I can't think of adjectives. More so what? Oh my goodness. Noble would wear than a knight. Though the suit delete wear had gold and silver accents. Period. Even from a slight distance, comma, you could tell the craftsmanship was of very high quality. Period. The buttons and other ornaments were highly detailed with a wilted flower symbol etched deeply into them. Period. The man himself looked as fine as his clothes. Period. He reminded me of the men on the covers of male fashion magazines. Period. He would get no trouble finding a job. Anywhere. He so pleased, comma, so it surprises me that he chose the knights. Period. Though, comma, his training in the night seemed to do him well, comma, as his suit was very form-fitting, period, enough so that you could see his chiseled muscles. Pop out through the clothes, period. Oddly enough, I almost start drooling. So what was I? Oh my goodness, what am I doing? I haven't even gotten to his face yet. Mm. Mm. Oh my goodness. His face was sharp. And smooth. Okay, these contradict each other too much. Sharp at the edges, but smooth elsewhere. Smooth elsewhere. Face was sharp at the edges, but smooth elsewhere. Good, good, good. In case you're wondering, this guy is just dumb. Well, actually, concussion. God, I just remembered that. I already figured out why he didn't realize he was his little sister yet. God, I'm too smart for my own good. Oh, yes, I need to get back to explaining the intricacies of this fine man, whose name I don't even know. I'm gonna have to ask AI again. That's gonna help. Mm-hmm. Let's see what else. Let's smooth elsewhere. His nose, comma, too, comma, was quite pointy. Period. His hair was of decent length for a man, comma, though longer than I would expect for the Royal Knight. So, comma, long enough so to just barely cover his ears. Period. Though, when his hair moved on his horse. That just doesn't make any sense. But when the movement of the horse when the movement of the horse or even the wind made his hair flow. Made his hair flow. You could see his ears. One's not of perfect beauty as one would imagine, comma, but clearly those of a trained martial artist. Period. They were largely flat. Period. While he seems to be self-conscious of his ears, comma, I felt a great fondness for them. Period. I wish his smooth, almost maroon-colored hair would not cover them so. Period. I'm done thinking of everything I can to how to explain this guy. What in the world was I writing here? What was I doing? How long did I spend just describing this man? My goodness. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? What am I doing? I too wish to cover this up because I am self-conscious of it. I'm already this far in though. I might as well keep going. I'm kind of writing the hotness in there. Cause the guy's a girl now. That's how it works. Oh, what am I doing? Yes. The regal man motions his unit. The regal man. Yeah. Communicates to his troop via hand units. Hand units. Okay. This needs to be units, and this needs to be movements. Hand movements. Comma. I'm sorry, I'm thinking too much on how hot that man is. Units via hand movements. And they swiftly surround me. Period. I said period. Either way, I need to do quotation marks for this. Your name, miss. Do I want to do your name, miss? Hmm. There's two ways I could take this, right? I could make him just really overly handsome in like the knight in shining armor sort of thing. Or I could, do a more realistic route where he says that you're in a forbidden area. No, we're doing this to sell merch. We're doing the your name, miss. Your name, miss. The regal man states. Regal man axe ass. Miss? Question mark? I feel like he must be referring to someone else. comma, but there's clearly no one around but me. Period. New line. Oh. Hmm. I want to like. There's this really funny joke. Like it's gonna be the new peak. New peak of jokes, right? It's gonna be better than $106.82. It's new peak. New peak, right? There's clearly no one else around. I do want to change that. It flows a little better. There's clearly no one else around. Um, there's clearly no one else around, and I am clearly a man. As instinct, I look down at my body to confirm that to the regal man. Okay, you ready? It's so dumb, but it's there. Good dogs. New peak right there. New peak. Oh my goodness, what am I doing? What am I doing? Uh what am I doing? Either way, I don't like this phrase. Oh my god, what do I even do? What? Okay, this is funny, but honestly, I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan. Um, so how do I make the joke better, but also a little nicer? Um, because clearly, as soon as he looks down, he will know. He will know. Because of course, his little sister is a pinup model, as it goes. Hmm. Hmm. This is one of those writer's block situations, but I didn't think I'd have that when trying to explain a man's reaction to him having. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Mm. Okay. I need to take this in a serious manner. A very serious, refined manner. It requires confidence and seriousness of the utmost importance. I cannot laugh. It is not a good thing if I laugh. I mustn't laugh. I must stay calm. Okay. Better. Calm. Calm. I gotta say, calm. It's so dumb. How do I explain this without it being not, without it being so dumb? Guess I am a girl. Why am I a girl? It's so dumb. Alona, girl of this figure. Oh, my goodness. I feel ashamed of myself. uh, oh my goodness. Is this actually how they do that? Is this how they write it? Have I just not read enough? What am I doing? Is it really this dumb? It's so dumb. Why is it so dumb? This size and this figure. And these hands. There's only one girl I could be. Caps lock for this. I am my little sister? What? Yeah, look at that. Uh, uh, the regal man gives an odd look. Period. Whatever I am must be too much for the amount of pay he gets. Period. I understand his dilemma well. Period. Sadly, comma, he takes it in a much different direction than I would. Period. Delete. Comma. And calls for his troops to restrain me. Period. Yeah. This regal man is going to be of good worth and note. He will not be horrible like whatever this man is. Oh my god. He calls for his troops to restrain me. I ask again. Your name? You already know it's the regal man. I don't need to write that. I just do the point. Comma. Even a simple question like my name is an inexplainable dilemma. Excuse me. Did you activate spell check for a word you put in yourself? What are you doing? I look like my little sister, comma, I sound like my little sister, comma, but I am not my little sister. Period. Since I am me, comma, should I just use my real name? Question mark. Or would he think it's weird that a girl is using a guy's name? Question mark. Can I even get back to my normal body? Question mark. Hmm. What's he thinking now? I don't. I can't understand a horrible man such as himself. So I don't know what he's thinking. Would I even want to get back to my normal body? Question mark. That question is easy. Period. I must be. Pivot. Huh? Haha. Haha. Huh? Ami Tanaka. Mm-hmm. He is his little sister. Uh-huh. What is the what am I doing? What am I doing? It's funny though. At least in part. Okay. Tanaka. And why are you here, Miss Ami Tanaka? I just woke up here. It's probably the same answer any random guy would give. I just woke up here. What else do you write? You don't know where you are. You can go, where is here? That's probably a good one. Where is here? Yes, I'm the type of guy to do this. Don't question it. Where is here? The regal man. Makes a look of shame. And asks. And does another hand motion towards the knights. They put me on the back of one of their horses, comma, which is easy given that I'm already restrained. Period. They didn't start moving back to the castle. Period. If this man is anything like my manager, comma, I decide to keep my mouth shut. Period. And that will be my generic explanation as to why this man will not say anything on the ride. Yeah, I don't want to write that. I feel like it's just kind of best to fast track and not use too much detail or random exposition or anything. I am thrown in a jail cell. Comma. Maybe I should have said something. Period. Wait. Hold on. I'm not a criminal. Criminal. The knight makes no response as he walks away. I am now stuck in a jail cell. What does one do in a jail cell? Question mark. That's my actual question right now. I have no idea what one does in a jail cell. How do I write that? I've never been in a jail cell before, which is where I want to say. I do not want to test it out. I just don't know what to do. I'm doing a jail cell. Does it make a difference? I'm female now. Does it? I am now alone in a jail cell. I suppose it does, comma, given that I have to deal with all the extra weight if I were to exercise. Peak line right there. That's the peak. That is the best line of the. Oh, right there. That's the line. No. The extra weight on my chest. There we go. Otherwise, it seems my little sister was quite slim. It's quite slim. I'll just go with fit. Probably good. Quite fit. This is horribly written. That's what makes it good. Horrible writing makes it so much better. Otherwise, it seems my little sister was quite fit. I lay down to pass the time. Period. But not just much time has passed. Much time passes before I get a visitor. Period. An older man. Comma. Even older than I was. Comma. Delete. Period. Period. This man will tell me all of the prophecy. So we'll go here. Who are you? The old man mumbles. That might need to be capitalized. Whatever, it doesn't matter. Tanaka. Tanaka. I questionably respond. Man opens his eyes. Man opens his eyes wider than it seems. It would seem any man could open their eyes. Period. They practically pop out of his head. Period. Stranger still, they have a sort of blue aura around them, and I feel a strange presence. Period. Go here, there we go. Who are you really? The old man once again mumbles. Was my answer not good enough the first time? So, of course, as any man would say, the name of his sister. Tanaka? Not the body, but yourself. This man knows Isekai. Huh? What? What? You know, I really hate it in isekais, or just any random thing of that sort, when they don't tell anybody. You know, if it's like a time travel thing, they're just like, oh, I need to keep this a secret. So dumb. It makes it so much better if you just tell the guy. So yes, this man is forcing us to do that. Though I should reference that it is body swapped and not isekai, because the guy technically still doesn't know isekai yet. The man knows I body swapped. The prophecy states, Hero Tanaka. The old man nods. And now, of course, you're gonna go into the prophecy, as any old man would do. states a man of that name would appear, but you are no man. He chuckles. But you'll have to do. But you'll have to do. Haha. He's a nice old man. A man of that name would appear, but you are no man. You are no man. There we go. But you'll have to do. Ha ha ha. Don't worry. Okay? The first chapter is just the setup. We're almost done, okay? Huh? Huh? Prophecy. A prophecy passed down only through my family. A prophecy that deems an otherworlder shall rule the realm. That was just my fault. Shall rule the realm. He gonna rule the realm. Whoa! So, no, we're not there yet. We're not the demon part. Otherworlder shall rule the realm. And prophecy that demands an otherworlder shall rule the realm. I see realm, and I want to say realm so badly. He shall rule the realm. Prophecy that demands an otherworlder shall rule the realm. An otherworlder by the name of Hiro Tanaka. Oh, it's kind of close. It did Tanaka right. Name of Hiro Tanaka. I stare. The man unlocks the cell and welcomes me out. Welcome to the demon realm, hero. Period. Okay, I can't like have him just say, "You are the demon lord now," and that'll work. Like, what else do I do here, right? I haven't analyzed enough demon lord isekais. Into the demon realm, hero. Go claim your throne on the seat of the demon lord. Period. Do bold italicize. Demon lord? What? Huh? Demon lord? He is the demon lord now? What? Is that it? Is that like a good first chapter? If I was reading this, would I be intrigued? How many words is that? 2,000? Yeah, I mean, that's a decent length for a first chapter. At least that I know. So, you know, it's not like I'd read enough random generic isekais on web novel to know. Claim your throne on the seat of the Demon Lord. Demon Lord? She's actually the Demon Lord. Whoa. Suggesting, no, I've got to edit it. Speaking of editing, I do have to proofread. Oh no. I have to proofread 7 pages? Fine. Guess I'll do that real quick. Hang on, it was 9 p.m. Oh yeah, I was gonna fix that. How do you do that? That's a great question. Alright, other device of note. How do I do this? How does one do commas after that? Commas after PM. Do you do it like that? Commas and dates with hours specified. Well, thanks, man. Numerals when you are used when exact times are emphasized. AM, PM, though these appear. Oh, also, yeah. What do I do? 6 p.m. Oh. Okay. Good to know. Okay, so summarize. No comma. Just at all. No comma. Nah. None. No comma. So says it. No comma. It's 9 p.m. I really want a comma to be there, but it said no comma. Do I disregard and do a period? But period comma looks wrong. But just period also looks wrong. No, no. This is just a random thing. If I even put it on web novel, it doesn't even matter. Okay. No, this thing's not going on web novel. Why would I do that to myself? Why would I put myself through that torture? So, yeah, it doesn't have to be that good. Otherwise known as 3 hours past the end of my shift, and I was finally done with the work for the day. Well, I say the day, but it's just the work I had assigned myself. It's just the work that I had assigned for myself. Comma, given my large pile of work, I know I'm never going to be able to finish. Given my large pile of work, I know I'm never going to be able to finish. So no, that's not an L. I'll never be able to finish in my large pile of work. I know I'll never be able to finish through. Yeah, that'll work. It's not like my work matters anyway, after all. It's not like work matters anyway. That needs to be a period. After all, once I sign it, it all goes back to the same place, no matter how much attention I give it. Dude, the paper shredder. If my own manager is anything to go off of, nah, no of, just off. 2 F's, no 1 F. None of the managers care about the employees, and they're all just as horrible as the last. The sick men only care for hot women and lots of cash. I forgot I wrote that. Oh, why would I do this? This being in the nearby vicinity. This being in their vicinity. Being in the being in their, I'll do their vicinity. Being in their vicinity is as dreadful as my thoughts on a Saturday night after spending my life savings at the bar. It just so happened to be Saturday. I think my mind is already preparing itself for a long night. I feel sad for him now. No! No, to make this day even more dreadful than it already has been, the bar I normally go to is being renovated. Therefore, I believe there's double space. Yeah. Therefore, comma, I believe my best course of action is to instead spend my life savings on cheap beer at the convenience store. A whole $106.82. After calculating my rent and bills, of course. Great line. Honestly, reading back through it, I treated it like it was dumb, but honestly, I kind of like it. I shut off my computer and walked through the office toward the elevator, keeping the lights on, as sadly, I am not the only person left in the building. The elevator ride is slow and lonely, as I have gotten bored of the company provided by the same music I've heard on repeat for the last 12 years. I needed to change it to provided by, just to differentiate that the company refers to the music instead of the company he works at. The only thing that makes the ride bearable is the hope that I'll get out of the elevator. The hope that the elevator will stop? No, I like that better. It has like a better ring at the end. It's the hope that I'll get out of the elevator instead of the hope that the elevator will stop. I like the get out of the elevator better. Though stepping out of the elevator isn't much better, as the only thing you see walking out, the only thing you see from the elevator to the front entrance is a dark reception area. What do you want with two? No, I did not mean two. With two. To the front entrance is a dark reception area emptied out many hours ago because the managers love to be nice to the receptionist. I just realized that gives a different ring than I mean it to. Oh no. The managers. Let the managers let the receptionist get off early. Yeah, that's a little better. Emptied out many hours ago because the managers let the receptionist get off early. Managers so graciously let the receptionist get off early. Yeah, that sounds a little nicer. It has a bit of a better ring. Yeah, that seems bad. It's better. The walk to from the entrance to the convenience store, only a few blocks, is also just as rubbish as the trash that lines the edges of the street. That nobody bothers to clean up. There's irony in the fact that the street right next to it is as clean as I would hope myself to be. Clean on the outside, full of beer on the inside. It's a great line. What am I doing here? I'm saying all these mean things about myself, but it's actually, that's a decent line here. But nevertheless, the convenience store is my holy grail. Holy grail, it is a noun, isn't it? So I will keep that. I don't know why shining light and darkness is capitalized, but sure, go ahead. My shining light in the darkness when everything else is horrid. Especially the cute girl always at the counter, who for some reason always does the night shift. She's always unresponsive to my attempts to make small talk. I've given up on it. Do I want to say cute? Yeah, I do want to say cute. It gives his character a little more. Especially the cute girl always at the... Walking far to the back. Fire! Walking far to the back, passing the meals and other food items I know I wouldn't be able to keep down. I grab a few packs of beer and... meander toward the register. That's a better phrase. Better phrase there. Meander toward the register. On the shelves next to the entrance are the magazines. A few pinup models. And catch my... A few Few pinup models and catch my eye, and I contemplate picking up. Okay. Few models catch my eye, and I contemplate picking up a few. I have to figure out what I was trying to say. Few magazines until I see her. Till I see her. No suggestion. Ami Tanaka, top model at multiple agencies. Given that somehow makes her more money than an exclusivity contract. Also, an all-around horrible and uncaring person. Though above all else, my little sister. I, Hiro Tanaka. Am. Yes, but we don't want that capitalized. I'm working a horrible dead-end job while my little sister runs amok with all the money she could ever desire. All the money and fame she could ever desire. Never has she once offered to give me money or invited me to any of her special events. She so often I'll just do a tins instead of brags about, because I want her to be an actually decent person. Or even giving me a single thought for my well-being. I skip past the magazines. Placing my beers on the counter to pay for, the girl gives me an odd look and then completes my purchase without saying a word. Not even a thank you. And I don't thank her. Oh, how sad. At least thank the girl working the night shift. Walking out of the convenience store, I start the slow and tedious walk back to my apartment, where the rent is too high and the space too small. Though across a big street does exist, the scenery changes frequently enough. I can look out for it and not get bored. What was I trying to say there? The scenery changes frequently enough. I can... What was I trying to say? I get the gist. I feel the gist, but I don't know the words. The scenery changes frequently enough. I can look out for it and not get bored. The scenery changes frequently enough. I can... look for said differences and not get bored. That's good enough. My favorite spot being the large crosswalk near the station that connects the two major roads. I often stop there and look at the scenery, and today is no different. Bing! Haha, like the browser. A phone notification. Not that I ever get any outside of my normal family, which tells me this may be of some importance. Because the guy's mean, so, you know, it can't just be important. It may be of some importance. Like, they're probably not that good. I bend down to set my beer on the road and pull out my phone to see which family member it was who texted me. A text from Ami, my little sister. And text from her I often dread. Though I always check them anyway. I get this feeling today's message might be different, given how everything seems much brighter around me. Line break. Anyway. Line break, my favorite line. Oh man, I love it when Hiro said line break. I get this feeling today's message might be different. Wait a second. It wouldn't make sense for everything around me to be brighter. Why would it be brighter? I looked to my side. Chuck. Oops. An unfamiliar sky. Oh no. An unfamiliar sky? Spooky. Meaning that I must be lying on the ground. The only thing to do, stand up. And right as I do that, it feels like there's a large weight on my shoulders. That would make sense, given I was just hit by a truck. Was hit by a truck? I was. I feel really good for someone who was just hit by a truck. Perhaps that's due to the brain damage, and given nothing around me looks familiar in the slightest. There we go. That's what I want. I want it to be on the right margin is the word. Around me is a rocky waste. The gray. A gray sky. Imagine the side of a cliff to be if it was sprawled across the landscape. No trees or grass, no life. Aside from a large castle off in the distance. Even if I have brain damage, sitting around doing nothing won't help me at all. So I start to walk towards the castle. A walk I quickly find out. A walk as I quickly find out. A walk that is very uneventful. A walk as I quickly find out. And that is very uneventful and filled with lots of slopes I nearly slip on. On multiple occasions, I end up tripping on the ground. Which has a sort of unnatural feeling to it, but I chalk it down to concussion. Yeah, okay. It seems good so far. Seems fine so far. I'm not too concerned. Reading this once again, that my writing is as horrible as I thought it was. However, before the castle even grows in my perception, I see a group of horsemen riding somewhere towards the opposite direction of the castle. I feel sorry for the horses, given they have nowhere to eat. I figure whoever is on those horses knows more about where I am than I do. That good line. Hey, over here, I cry out. Seemingly, it gets their attention as they start moving my way. As they approach, I'm able to see them better. 5 horse riders. 4 in the back with heavy sets of armor, and 1 handsome man who I envy in the front, seemingly leading the unit. Of course. Oh no, I forgot about this. Okay. It only makes sense and is natural that I read this in a interesting voice, so to say. The man was clad in a regal black. More so one a noble would wear than a knight. Though the wearer had gold and silver accents. The wearer had gold and silver accents. Even from a slight distance. I should do as the wearer. Even from a slight distance, you could tell the craftsmanship was of very high quality. The buttons and other ornaments were highly detailed, with a wilted flower symbol etched deeply into them. The man himself looked as fine as his clothes. He reminded me of the men on the covers of male fashion magazines. He would get no trouble finding a job anywhere. He's so pleased. So it surprises me. It surprised me that he chose the Knights. Though his training as a knight seems to do him well, as his suit was very form-fitting. Enough so that you could see his chiseled muscles pop out through the clothes. Oddly enough, I almost start drooling. His face was sharp at the edges, but smooth elsewhere. His nose, too, was quite pointy. His hair was a decent length for a man, no longer than I would expect. His hair was a decent length for a man, though longer than I would expect for the Royal Knights. Royal Knights. There, yeah, good. Longer than I expected the Royal Knights. Long enough so to just barely cover his ears. But with the movement of the horse, or even the wind. Wind was proper. Okay. When the movement of the horse, or even the wind, made his hair flow, you could see his ears. One's not of perfect beauty, as one would imagine, clearly those of a trained martial artist. They were largely flat. Though very appealing. While he seems to be self-conscious of his ears, I felt a great fondness for him. I wish his smooth, almost maroon-colored hair would not cover them so. I'm not doing that again. The regal man communicates to his unit by hand movements, and they swiftly surround me. Your name, miss? The regal man asked. Miss, I feel like he must be referring to someone else, but there is clearly no one else around, and I'm clearly a man. As is instinct, I look down at my body to confirm that to the regal man. That's like a normal thing, right? If somebody's like, hey, nice shoes, then you look at your shoes, even though you know you only have one pair of shoes. You know the shoes they're talking about. Oh, wow, boobs. Yes, I am a girl. Why am I a girl? Let alone a girl of this figure. But with this size and this figure and these hands, there's only one girl I could be. I am my little... I am keeping this buried in the depths of wherever this is. The regal man gives an odd look. Whatever I am must be too much for the amount of pay he gets. The amount he gets paid. I understand his dilemma well. Sadly, he takes it in a much different direction than I would and calls for his troops to restrain me. I ask again, what is your name? At this point, even a simple question like my name is an inexplainable is a word, right? That is a word. Inexplainable. I mean, it even knew it, but why is it trying to spell check me? Inexplainable. Inexplainable. I mean, it's in the dictionary. Inexplainable. It means unexplainable. Or inexplicable. Ah. An you know, I'll just make it easy for myself. That'll work. I'm gonna take the easy way out when I've been spending 2 hours writing whatever this nonsense is. I look like my little sister. I sound like my little sister, but I'm not my little sister. Since I am me, should I use my real name? Or what do you think? It's weird that a girl or would the man or would the knight think it's weird that a girl is using a guy's name? Can I even get back to my normal body? Would I even want to get back to my normal body? That question is easy. This man, disgusting. I must be Ami Tanaka. And why are you here, Miss Ami Tanaka? I'll just do Miss Tanaka. There you go. Where is here? The regal man makes a look of shame. That's what he's doing when he sees this. And does another hand motion toward the knights. They put me on the back of one of their horses, which is easy given that I'm already restrained. They didn't start moving back towards the castle. Opposite of their previous route. If this man is anything like my manager, I decide to keep my mouth shut. I am thrown in a jail cell. I should not have kept my mouth shut. Wait, hold on. I'm not a criminal. Then I makes no response as he walks away. I am now alone in a jail cell. What does one do in a jail cell? Does it make a difference that I'm realism. Everyone would ask that question. But I don't think anyone would know. What do you? It's one of those questions we all ask. But what do you? We all ask that. What am I doing? Okay. Serious. I suppose it does, given that I have to deal with all this extra weight on my chest if I were to exercise. Otherwise, it seems my little sister was quite fit. I lay down to pass the time. But not much time passes before I get a visitor. An older man, even older than I was. Who are you? The old man mumbles. Who are you? Yes, this does need to be capitalized. That's what I was going back and checking for. Does it need to be capitalized? Yes. Ami Tanaka, I questionably respond. The man opens his eyes wider than it would seem any man could have opened their eyes. They practically pop out of his head. In fact, I do think they did pop out of his head. Yeah, it's just they're out. Scary. Strangers still. May have been a sort of blue aura around them. And I feel strangers still may have been a sort of blue aura surrounding them. surrounding them. As well as a strange presence, I feel. Well, who are you really? The old man once again mumbles, pushing his eyes back into their sockets. That scares me. Was my answer not good enough the first time? I mean, Tanaka, not the body, but yourself. This man knows thy body, so Hiro Tanaka. The old man nods. Good. The prophecy states a man of that name would appear. You are no man. He chuckles. But you'll have to do. Huh? Prophecy? Prophecy passed down through my family. A prophecy. A prophecy that demands an other world shall rule the realm. Rule the realm. Other world spelling? No, it's fine. An other worlder by the name of Hiro Tanaka. Whoa. I stare. The man unlocks the cell and welcomes me out. Welcome to the demon realm, Hiro. Demon realm. I'm like tempted to just keep that as Hiro because it is also true. Go claim your seat on the throne of the demon lord. See what? Demon lord? No way. Hiro. He is a hero, but I'll just do it that way. Easier. Wait, that means I finished. I can finally not think about Guy reincarnating as his little sister in another world as the demon lord? No way. This is pain. This is horrid. What am I doing? Wow, I'm glad I got that done with. I can't wait to never think about it again. Yeah, I know that's not happening.